Welcome back to CIT 157 Module 7-1. In this module, I will talk about basic network security issues, risk assessment, business continuity, intrusion prevention, and other practical issues. You will follow steps to create control spreadsheet. Read Business Data Communications Chapter 10 for more details. This module is summary of the textbook. This is outline for this module. In this activity, I will summarize overall view of network security. In the business worlds, security has always been a major concern. There are two assets of security in IT. One is physical assets and the other one is information assets. These days, computers and internet have redefined the nature of information security. Many new laws and enforcement were developed. CIRT, Computer Emergency Response Team, was formed at Carnegie Mellon University with U.S. DoD support to respond computer security issues. CIA is primary goals in providing security. Confidentiality is protection of data from unauthorized disclosure of customers and proprietary data. Integrity is assurance that data have not been altered or destroyed. And availability is providing continuous operations of hardware and software so that parties involved can be assured of uninterrupted service. There are basically two types of security threats. One is business continuity planning related threats. Disruptions of networking, destructions of data and disasters, natural or man-made disasters, are they. The other one is intrusion. Hackers or unauthorized employees' access to data and resources. They could be industrial spy. Network controls are mechanisms that reduce or eliminate the threats to network security. There are preventative controls, detective controls, and corrective controls. Organizations need some designated IT to develop network controls, to ensure that controls are operating effectively, and to update or replace controls when necessary. Network controls should be tested and verified periodically. Risk assessment is a key step in developing a secure network. You should assign level of risks to various threats by comparing the nature of threats to the controls designed to reduce them. In this activity, you will follow how to create control spreadsheet for risk assessment. This is an example of control spreadsheet which can be used for risk assessment. To develop a control spreadsheet, you should list down network assets on the side first. Then you list threats across the top. Then list the controls that are currently in use to address each threat in the corresponding cells. Finally, optimize controls based on risk. 1. You should identify the assets on the network. Organizations' data files are most important. Mission-critical applications are also very important. Programs critical to survival of business is also important. Hardware, software components are important, but easily replaceable. Evaluate assets based on their importance. However, prioritizing assets is a business decision, not a technology decision. Value of an asset is a function of TDS replacement cost, personnel time to replace the asset, and lost revenue due to the absence of the asset. In second step, you should identify threats. Threats are any potentially adverse occurrence that can harm or interrupt the systems using the network, or cause a monetary loss to an organization. Rank threats according to their probability of occurrence and likely cost if the threat occurs. In third step, you need to identify existing controls and list them in the cell for each asset and threat. In fourth step, optimize controls based on risk. There are two types of security threats. One is business continuity planning related threats like disruptions, destructions of data, or disasters. The other one is intrusion. In this activity I want to talk about ensuring business continuity. To ensure business continuity, you should make sure that organizations' data and applications will continue to operate even in the face of disruption, destruction, or disaster. Continuity plan includes two major parts. To prevent disruptions, destructions of data, or disasters from having a major impact, you have to develop controls. To enable the organization to recover if a disaster occurs, you need disaster recovery plan. To develop continuity plan, you should know what they are. Viruses spreads when infected files are accessed. Macroviruses attach themselves to other programs, documents, and spread when the programs are executed, the files are opened. Worms are special type of virus that spread itself without human intervention, sends copies of itself from computer to computer. Antivirus software packages check disks and files to ensure that they are virus-free. Incoming email messages are most common source of viruses. You should check attachments to emails, use filtering programs to clean incoming email. DOS attacks is network disrupted by a flood of messages that prevents messages from normal users. Flooding web servers, email servers, and other server cannot respond. Distributed DOS, come from many different computers. DOS agents on several machines are controlled by a DOS handler, may issue instructions to computers to send simultaneous messages to a target computer. It is difficult to prevent DOS and DOS attacks because it may set up many servers around the world. There is intrusion detection systems which require ISPs to verify that all incoming messages have valid IP addresses. Some approaches for DOS are traffic filtering, traffic limiting, and traffic anomaly detectors. Traffic filtering verifies all incoming traffic source addresses for validity, requires a lot of processing. When a flood of packets are entering the network, traffic limiting limits incoming access regardless of source, some may be legitimate. Traffic anomaly detectors perform analysis of traffic to see what normal traffic looks like, and block abnormal patterns. Security plan must include an evaluation of ways to prevent equipment theft. Physical security is key component for theft. Device failure protection is a key principle in preventing disruption, destruction, and disaster. Example are uninterruptible power supplies, UPS, fault-tolerant servers, with redundant components, disk mirroring, disk duplexing, redundant disk controllers. Disaster protection is more difficult to do since the entire site can be destroyed by a disaster. It depends on the type of disaster to be prevented. For example, flood case, you need to locate key components away from rivers. For fire case, you need to install fire suppression systems. Generally, you may decentralize the network resources, and store critical data in at least 2 separate locations, in different parts of the country. So, one of the best solutions would be having a completely redundant network that duplicates every network component, but in a different location. In disaster recovery plans, DRPs, you have to identify clear responses to possible disasters. It should provide for recovery, partial or complete recovery of data, HW, SW, networks, and physical facilities. DRPs includes backup and recovery controls. Elements of a DRP are names of charged people and their due list, priorities of fix first, alternative locations, recovery procedures, actions under various contingencies, manual processes, plan updating and testing procedures, and safe storage of data, software, and the disaster recovery plan itself. There are 2-level disaster recovery plans. Level 1 is to recover from a minor disaster like loss of a major server. Level 2 is for major disasters. So professional disaster recovery firms should get involved. Disaster recovery firms offer a range of services including secure storage for backups, a complete network data center that clients can use in disasters, and complete recovery of data and network within hours. It would be expensive, and used by large organizations. In this activity, I will talk about intrusion. There are different types of intruders. Casual intruders are script kiddies who are novice attackers using hacking tools. They are with limited knowledge, trying doorknobs. Security experts are hackers who like the thrill of the hunt. Some hackers are crackers who cause damage. Professional hackers break into computers for specific purposes. Then there are organization employees with legitimate access to the network who gain access to information not authorized to use. Intrusion prevention requires a proactive approach that includes routinely testing the security systems. Best rule for high security is do not keep extremely sensitive data online. You should store them in computers isolated from the network. You should develop and maintain proper security policy. It is critical to controlling risk due to access. Security policy should define clearly important assets to be safeguarded and controls needed. What employees should do. And plan for routinely training employees and testing security controls in place. These are example of elements of a security policy. Firewall prevent intruders by securing internet connections from making unauthorized access and denial of service attacks to your network. It could be a router, gateway, or special purpose computer. Main types of firewalls are packet-level firewalls, aka packet filters, and application-level firewalls, aka application gateway. Network address translation, NAT, proxy servers, translates between private addresses inside a network and public addresses outside the network. It is used by most firewalls to shield a private network from public network. Physical security means preventing outsiders from gaining access into offices, server rooms, equipment. You should lock the place, you should educate and reduce people who enter secure places, and you should use secure cables and devices. For dial-in security, you should routinely change modem numbers. It is good to use automatic number identification, ANI, for only users dialing in from authorized locations are granted access based on phone number. For traveling employees who can't use ANI, use one-time only passwords. Activity 5 Best Practice. These are practical recommendations. If you want to work IT field, you should consider these. Security is one of the fastest growing area in networking. Cost of security is expected to increase. Laws in computer security will be tougher and there will be better enforcement. Security will be a major factor to consider in choosing software and equipment. This is the end of Module 7_1. In this module you have scanned network security in manager's viewpoint. I will see you in next lecture.